Is America becoming a police state? That's the question explored in my new film coming out next month. But now I want to talk about what the American people think about this topic. And here I want to make reference to a survey. I was about to say Rasmussen, but it's really Rasmussen survey. I've been calling it Rasmussen, and then the guys who run the survey were like, Dinesh, actually, he pronounced it Rasmussen. Like this is Scott Rasmussen, the guy who founded the polling company. And I was like, well, he's wrong. It's Rasmussen, not Rasmussen. The guy should learn to spell his own name, pronounce his own name right. This would be like me going around calling myself Dinesh. In any event, he apparently said Rasmussen, so we're going to kind of defer to him on it. So these guys did a really interesting survey a year ago on 2,000 Mules. And they looked at the people who've seen the movie. They looked at what do people think about election fraud. And it was really cool to have that survey out there. So I asked the Rasmussen guys, do you mind asking a couple of questions about police state? And they were like, yeah, we can add it to our next national survey. And so they formulated two very interesting questions. The first one is simply, is America becoming a police state? Which is the central question of the movie. And they were careful to define it because people can interpret police state in different ways. So they defined it as, quote, a tyrannical government that engages in mass surveillance, censorship, ideological indoctrination, and targeting of political opponents. By the way, this is a classic definition. If you were talking about a police state abroad, North Korea, you would use this kind of a definition to say that's why we call them an unfree society. So they were using a very classic definition. And their second question was about the FBI. So a more particular question, which is, the FBI is a danger to the freedom and security of law-abiding Americans. Agree or disagree? So not a danger to the freedom and security of criminals, but of law-abiding Americans. What do people think about it? So here are the results. On the first question, which is America becoming a police state? An amazing answer. 72% are concerned that America is becoming a police state, including 46% who say that they are very concerned, and only 23% say not concerned. Now, that alone is interesting because think about it. What it means is that a substantial number of Democrats necessarily agree or are concerned that we're becoming a police state. Why? Because if you think of Republicans and Democrats being roughly 50-50 in the country, how do you get to 72% without including a good 20% or so, maybe a little more chunk of Democrats? Now, the interesting wrinkle about this, I was on Dennis Prager's radio show yesterday talking about this fact, and he mentioned the Rasmussen survey. And he said, how could it be that the Democrats who are voting for people who are doing all this, imposing censorship, imposing indoctrination, how is it the Democrats could possibly think that we're becoming a police state? And so what I said to Dennis was, I said, listen, I think what's going on here is not that the Democrats agree with us. It's that the Democrats think that we are imposing a police state on them. All you have to do is listen to their rhetoric. Trump is an authoritarian. Trump wants to become a dictator. Trump wants to assassinate his opponents. Trump wants to fire all the people who work in the government. He wants to change the laws unilaterally on his own. Or Republicans are taking away abortion rights, gay rights, trans rights. So in various ways, Republicans are under accusation by the media. You are the guys. So the thing is, I started out in this movie thinking about, I'm going to frame the issue as, is America becoming a police state? But then I realized many people on the left agree, yes, it is, but they think we're doing it. So they think we're doing it and we think they're doing it. And the movie in a way then pivots and asks a different question, which is, who's right? And I say there's only one way to answer that question, and that is to look at 3 or 4 key issues. Number one, what is a police state? Number two, how did it get started? At least how did it get started in America? 3, how does it operate? Who's behind it? And finally, who's in charge? Who's running the police state? Because if you can answer those questions, you will know decisively if the threat is coming from the left or if it's coming from the right. Back to the Rasmussen survey and their second question, the FBI is a danger to the freedom and security of law-abiding Americans. Turns out 50% agree. Wow, think of what a number that is. What a high number, and what that tells you about the fact that public confidence in the FBI has basically dissolved. Now, out of that 50%, 28% strongly agree. So the FBI has essentially lost more than a quarter of the American people. They would shut it down, I believe, if they were given the choice. 45% disagree. So this is not as clear-cut as the first question, but nevertheless, a police agency like the FBI should be trying to go for 80 or 90% public support. And the fact that they're down, that 50% of people say that they are a danger to law-abiding Americans should be very troubling to Christopher Wray and the people around him at the FBI. So a very interesting survey. I'm very grateful to the Rasmussen people for doing it. I think it shows the enormous timeliness and relevance of this upcoming movie. And by the way, if you haven't gotten your theater tickets yet, go to policestatefilm.net. Don't wait till the last minute, then you're like, I can't get tickets, they're all sold out. Move early and move quickly. Get your tickets, round up your extended family or your church or your conservative group. It's kind of fun to see it in the group. It adds to the experience tremendously. And this is a movie that was made for the theater. So if you can, in some cases you may not be able to, but if you can, see it that way. If your problem is aches and pains, Relief Factor is your remedy. Debbie and I started taking Relief Factor a couple of years ago, and we've seen a huge difference in our joints. Nothing short of amazing. Aches and pains are totally gone thanks to this 100% drug-free solution called Relief Factor. It works. Now, how does it work? Relief Factor supports your body's fight against inflammation. That's the source of aches and pains. More than 1 million people have tried Relief Factor. Over 70% have gone on to order more because it works for them. Debbie's a true believer. She can now do exercises that for a long time she wasn't able to do. So Relief Factor has been a big game changer for her, our aunt, other members of our family, Mike here in the studio, and for many other people. You too can benefit. Try it for yourself. Order the 3-week quick start for the discounted price of just $19.95. Go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4-RELIEF to find out more about this offer. The number again to call, 800-4-RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. Feel the difference.